to run this little four-wheeler that Dad bought him at the motorcycle place on Fowler.
Yeah.
He'd run it over here and zoom up here and go to see them at their house.
So your parents' house is a quarter mile. See, now I'm getting better oriented.
Yeah, right. It's a quarter mile up the road. And it's really not a full quarter mile. I mean, I used to run it every day, 2 or 3 times a day. If I had to go see Mom and Dad, I never cranked up the engine, drove the car. I just would run down the road. And Daniel would go in his little four-wheeler back and forth. And my hand-me-down hound dog, she loved Mom and Dad.
Oh.
And it would be cold in October. And they'd be there at the cabin. They'd have their wood stove going. And she'd go, yip, yip, yip. I want to get outside. So I'd open the door to let her out, 7 in the morning, and she'd go straight out the driveway, and I'd be yelling at her to stay home, and she'd go straight down the road as fast as she could go, and she'd run up to their front door, and she'd stand up there by their top step, and she'd go, yip, yip, yip. And they were still in bed. And she'd wait, and they didn't come to the door. She'd run around to the back door, and she'd sit out there and yip, 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 and they'd always get up and go let her in. And they'd stoke up the fire in the wood stove, and she'd run straight into their living room and lay down and put her head like right up against the wood stove. She'd lie there to warm up. And it's like Dad said, I think she's going to bake her brains. She's so close.
She was their grand dog.
She was their grand dog. She loved to go down.
Is that the one from the confiscated from the pot growing?
Yep, my hand-me-down hound.
Hand-me-down hound. What was his name?
Doug. Doug got arrested.
No, not Doug. What was the hound's name?
Oh, the hound. He named her Sweet. I don't know why he named her Sweet, but we called her Sweetie because we didn't like calling her Sweet. And she was. She was a very, very, very...
Have you been in touch with Doug at all?
Oh, not in the last 20 years. He came to visit once. I told you he came back after 5-year probation.
To get his dog back.
Came back to get his dog because the judge said, you go back with your father to Richmond, Virginia, and you don't cross the North Carolina state line, or I'm going to make you serve 3 years in the state pen in Raleigh for growing pot.
How did they find his grow house?
They had helicopters flying over. It wasn't a house. They planted them out in the woods. They planted them on private property and on forest land.
But someone had to have tipped them off.
No.
The police don't just randomly fly over people's houses.
They do here. They fly the whole mountain range.
Yeah, but how can they see wheat?
They spot it.
You can't tell though.
I'm telling you, they fly the mountains every fall before the harvest of the pot. So, any rate, off track. I got Sweetie. I had her for 5 years. His probation was up. He hopped in his little red Toyota pickup truck he had when he left here, and he came back and he said he came to get Sweetie. And I said, I don't know. You know, she's been here 5 years. She's our dog. Now we're on Turtle Pond where the pavement is. Did we video this yesterday?
I don't know.
Oh, I want you to look at the $1 million house hanging over the creek, which is illegal.
Is this it right here?
Right. That's the house.
Can I walk out and look at it?
No.
Oh, that house. Holy smokes.
Hanging over the creek. Uh-oh, what are we doing? The DOT's here. Where's my pistol? Stop, he says. They're trimming the trees.
I'm going to cut it off. I don't need to watch the DOT.
Okay, turn it off.